Welcome to the Darkorbit Full Elite Guide. The goal is to teach you everything you need to know about becoming FE. In this video, I'll be talking about the game's various weapons and ammunition. There are a ton of options for you to choose from: laser cannons, rockets, and rocket launchers, and tons of laser and rocket ammo. I'll be telling you the best items you should aim to go for in your progress to FE and even UFE. We'll start things off with laser cannons. There are currently 17 cannons in the game, some of which function uniquely from the others. There are LF1, 2, 3, and 4, an unstable LF4, an MP1, Spectral Lancer 1, 2, and 3, Scatter Laser 1, 2, and 3, then 4 Special Elite Lasers, Hyperplasmoids, Parity Drill, and Magma Drill, which are called Enhanced LF4s, and the Prometheus Laser. Your goal is to currently reach FE, and to get there, you will need to get the LF3 laser cannon or better. To start off, however, there are only two specific ones you should buy from the shop: the LF1 and then the Spectral Lancer 2. The LF1 is the weakest gun in the game, costing you only 10,000 credits and causing only 65 damage points to both players and NPCs. But it is the most cost-effective gun to use until you can upgrade to the next best gun you can get for credits, the Spectral Lancer 2. This is a PvE-focused gun, dishing out 145 damage to NPCs, but only 90 damage to other players. Since you're trying to get to FE, PvP is not important, and should not be sought after until you reach FE, so that low damage against players is not important. Whenever you have extra gun slots available in your ship, fill them with LF1s first if you cannot afford the 300,000 credit price tag for the Spectral Lancer 2. Once you can afford it, replace the LF1s with the Spectral Lancer 2s. These will be your permanent guns until you can replace them with the more elite LF3s, LF4s, and Prometheus. The other weapons, namely the LF2, MP1, Unstable LF4, Spectral Lancer 1, and Scatter Lasers, are not worth achieving, since they are not cost-effective in terms of saving credits as fast as possible, or require crafting in the assembly with resources that are better spent on making your LF3s, BO2s, or even saving to acquire ships. But in the calendar rewards, you can receive Scatter Laser 3s, LF3s, Unstable LF4s, LF4s, and even Enhanced LF4s, so make sure you keep an eye out for the days you can get them, and make sure to equip them. All of the Spectral Lancers aim to deal more damage to NPCs, while they deal incredibly little damage to players, so be watchful of that if you get into any PvP situations. Then there are Scatter Lasers. It is an odd laser, as it has a 25% reduced range compared to other lasers. It makes it more difficult to kite NPCs, as they will be able to hit you more often since your range is reduced. But it has a special ability. Every 5 seconds, the guns deal more damage on the following shot, as an overdrive function. This allows it to have higher damage per second, but because of its reduced range, I consider it weaker than the LF3. But the Scatter Laser 3, which you can get easily from the calendar rewards, is better than the Spectral Lancer, so I suggest replacing that Lancer with the Scatter whenever you happen to get them. Now for the LF4s. There is a variety of them. Starting off is the base LF4, dealing 200 damage a shot. Early in the game, you'll easily be able to acquire them through the calendar rewards, then from booty boxes from keys you gather from daily quests and Zeta Gate. Further on, there's the Enhanced LF4s. The Hyperplasmoid is considered to be the best of the LF4s, granting you a 0.5% boost in your ship's HP for every gun equipped, plus dealing 225 damage, 25 more than the regular LF4. Then there's the Parity Drill, a PvE-focused LF4. It has a base damage of 230, but does 235 damage against NPCs. And finally the Magma Drill, a PvP-focused LF4. It also has a base damage of 230, but does 235 damage against players. Receiving these Enhanced LF4 is much more difficult. You need 400 log discs, a regular level 0 LF4, and a total of 810 units of these 3 resources that drop from various objectives. These 2 are dropped from daily and weekly missions, while the first one is dropped from pirate NPCs in the 5X maps, as well as Cubicons. It is better to slowly gain them over time from calendar rewards, until you can afford to grind up to craft these guns. There's also the unstable LF4, but, as the name says, it's very unstable. It deals as low as 128 to as high as 220 damage. Because of this drastic instability, these guns are not worth using at all. It's weaker than Spectral Lancer 2 and LF3, so if you do get any, just sell them, unless you want to keep them in your inventory. And finally, the Prometheus gun. It is considered to be the strongest weapon in the game. It has a lower base damage of 210, but it has an overdrive function just like a scatter laser, however, without the range reduction. Every 5 seconds, it deals an additional 200 damage, bringing your maximum output to 410 every 5 seconds. Additionally, these guns deal 3.5 times more damage to special blacklight NPCs, which are found in the BLX maps. They can only be crafted, requiring 75 booty keys, 200 million credits, 15,000 X4, 2500 RSB ammo, and 6000 Rhinos. Due to the expensive crafting recipe and the extreme amount of ammo spent shooting blacklight NPCs, due to their massive shields and HP, it is best to slowly work your way to FE, then acquire LF4s to only then start blacklight to get Prometheus guns. To recap, only purchase either the LF1s, then Spectral Lancer 2s from the shop to equip onto your ship. Then as you progress, you should bid on LF3s within the auction to replace the Lancers. As you play, you will receive Scatter Laser 3s, which are more powerful than the Lancers, as well as LF3s and enhanced LF4s. Make sure you replace only the weakest guns. Your ship will eventually progress to having a mixture of Spectral Lancer 2s, Scatter Laser 3s, LF3s and LF4s, and enhanced LF4s, ordered from weakest to strongest. Over time, you'll replace the Lancers, then replace the Scatter Lasers, leaving you with a mixture of LF3s, LF4s, and enhanced LF4s. From there, you should replace the LF3s with LF4s, leaving you a mixture of LF4s and enhanced LF4s. Gaining enhanced LF4s is very expensive and can take a long time if you were to only rely on the calendar system. So from there, you will be able to start the blacklight maps to farm for Prometheus guns, which are currently the strongest cannons in the game in terms of damage per second, and aim to replace your LF4s with them. And now, an additional special weapon, the Hellstrm rocket launcher. There are 2 versions, one shoots 3 rockets at a time and the other shoots 5. Don't bother buying the first one, as you can easily bid on the second one in the auction for a measly 10 to 20,000 credits. These launchers require special Hellstrm ammo, which there are a few kinds of. For your progression to FE, there's just one you should get, and that is the Eco 10. It is fairly cheap, and can increase your damage output by quite a bit. Each rocket deals 2,000 damage, maxing out at 10,000 damage for all 5 rockets you shoot. To use it in the game, open up the rocket launcher menu, and you will be able to access the launcher and its ammunition. Select the rocket type you'd like to use, and click on the launcher to start loading. It can take 5 seconds to load, and takes about 3 seconds to cool down before you can reload. Its other ammunition can be easily acquired through the game's various events. There are 5 other kinds, where only one other costs credits. There's a Sorrow one, which soaks up your target's shields, although it only deals a weak 1000 damage per rocket. But then there's the SAR 02, dealing 4000 damage per rocket, maxing out at 20,000 per launch. It's good for PvP and to refill your shields rather quickly from your targets if you're ever low. Then there's the Hellstrm 01, dealing 4000 damage per rocket, and the Uber 100, dealing 7500 damage per rocket, but only to NPCs. To players, it deals 4000 damage. And finally the CBR. It does a mix of damage and shield damage. It deals 3000 damage, combined with 3000 shield damage that is then reabsorbed by your ship. Moving on to ammunition. There is the large variety of laser ammunition as well as rocket ammo. We will only focus on the common laser ammo, ones you will encounter and use in your path to FE. Starting with laser ammo, there are complex names, but it's simply put as X1, X2, X3, X4, and SAB. The ammo is nicknamed based on how much more damage it does. X1 is the base laser ammo, very cheap, dealing the same values of damage that your equipped laser cannons do. Moving up, all the way to X4, damage is multiplied by 4. SAB is a special laser ammo targeting the shields, drawing it off your target and refilling your own, at double the base damage of your lasers. It will only work if your target has any shields to drain in the first place. The only ammo you should be buying and commonly using is X1 ammo. It's the only laser ammo you can buy for credits, and it will do you well for farming. As you progress, collecting boxes, spinning galaxy gates, you'll slowly acquire X2, X3, and SAB. You should strive to save these for NPCs you have a very hard time killing. If you can endlessly avoid being damaged by them, don't use these elite ammunitions, stick with X1. It'll come in handy once you start galaxy gates and hunt for boss and uber NPCs. There's also a special burst fire ammo called RSB. It deals 6 times more damage, but there's a short cooldown before it can be used again. Players, especially new ones, make the mistake of switching to RSB and leaving RSB active to continue shooting. That heavily lowers how much damage you dish out, and it's just a waste. After you fire your RSB ammo, you should switch back to the next strongest ammo you have to keep dealing damage, and switch back to RSB once its cooldown is over. That's how you properly use RSB. To finish up laser cannons and ammunition, there are special colors to go with them. If anyone uses X4, lasers are white in color. If anyone uses RSB, it's a flame-like orange color. SAB ammo has blue rings, and X1, X2, X3 are all red, unless your ship's laser slots are filled with LF3s. Then your X1 and X2 are blue, and your X3 is green. Enjoy those colors while they last, because once you start changing them out for LF4s, then it's back to red. Prometheus Guns have a unique purple color when its overdrive function goes off. Additionally, which is available to everyone, you can get rainbow lasers that are only visible to you. To do that, just focus your mouse on the screen and then type "I want rainbows" with no spaces. A message will pop up and then you'll shoot rainbows. Moving on to rocket ammo. There are 9 types, 4 of which deal damage, while the other 5 place an effect on your target. The damage dealing ones are the R310, PLT 2026, both of which cost you credits, and then the PLT 2021 and 3030, both of which cost you Uridium. Do not buy any of the Uridium ammo, as you will acquire them over time from galaxy gates, events, and the auction. When you first start off, focus on using the cheap 310 rockets. They deal 1000 damage a shot and are more than enough. Once credit rockets aren't much of a problem for you, move on to the 2026, which deal 2000 damage. The 2021 deals 4000 damage, and the 3030 deals 6000 damage. But the disadvantage of the 3030 is its lower accuracy compared to other rockets. The 5 special rockets are the PLD-8. It reduces your target's accuracy by 40% for 5 seconds. The DCR-250. It slows down your target by 30% for 5 seconds. The Whiz-X, a special rocket that simply changes your target's ship for a short duration and is seen by everyone. The RIC-3, a rocket that freezes your target in its track for 2 seconds. This rocket has also the ability of the Goliath X, called Frozen Claw. When combined, you can freeze the target for 4 seconds. And finally, the SR-5. It deals up to 80,000 shield damage, where then half of the damage is leached back to your ship, refilling your shields. But the downside is that your speed is delayed by 25%. All of these special rockets cost Uridium, but they can be acquired for free through various events and objectives from battle passes when they become available. And finally, one quick note to all of the damage figures I've listed before. All laser cannons and rockets have a 20% damage variation. That means your damage output can vary anywhere from 80% of the maximum to 100% of the damage you deal. So let's say you're using a laser cannon that does 100 damage. At the very lowest, it can deal 80 damage a shot, and at the very highest, it can deal 100 damage per shot. But the damage can vary anywhere in between. And also, all weapons have a base accuracy of 80%, meaning there's an 80% chance to hit and a 20% chance to miss. One exception is that PLT 3030 rocket, which has a much lower accuracy. That wraps up everything you need to know about weapons and ammunition. Use these tips in your space exploration and get to full elite. If there are any topics inside Darkorbit that you would like me to get deep into, drop a comment below. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if I helped you out, and hit the bell icon so you know the moment the next video is available. And I bid thee farewell.
harder, harder.